Yishem Adonai Matam Adonai, Hashem's name will be blessed forever and ever. We are continuing with the laws of Chol HaMoed, number 2. We'll talk today, Be'ezrat Hashem, about many halachot that some of you will be surprised to hear. Maybe for the first time, maybe not, we'll see. Today we're starting with trimming fingernails on Chol HaMoed, permitted, prohibited. This Torah class is sponsored and also for Refuah Shelema by and for Crystal Celesa Gonzalez, the daughter of Graciela. Okay, I don't know if the Zoom guy can see me. Ma?
I said amen, toda, and I can't see you, Rabbi. Your
Okay. I'm on. Okay. I'll let you now enjoy my beautiful face. Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam shehakol nihya bidvaro. Thank you very much, Andrew. Netilat ציפורניים בחול המועד. The halacha talks about, again, Chol HaMoed. Chol HaMoed is the days between the first day of the holiday and the last one. Only 2 have Chol HaMoed, Sukkot and Pesach. Shavuot doesn't have. We explained last week why and what's considered as Chol HaMoed for Shavuot. If you want to know the answer, just go to YouTube and find Chol HaMoed number 1, so you can learn about it. Right? I'm not going to feed everybody with a spoon all the time. True, right? True. Yeah. Thank you. It is permissible to trim one's fingernails during Chol HaMoed, even using a nail clipper. And this is the custom of Sephardic Jews. Ashkenazic Jews always have to do it complicated. No, I'm just kidding. Ashkenazic Jews, however, are stringent concerning this.
So stringent.
L'chaim. I'm neither. I'm not Ashkenazi. I'm not Sephardi. What am I? Yemenite. It's a different ball game. Even among Ashkenazic Jews, if a woman is scheduled to immerse in a mikveh, she got to go. She can't say, I can't go. She must go, right? It's just Allah. She got to go. God forbid something happened, but she had to go. But part of the process before a woman go to the mikveh, she needs to shower, hair trim, everything. Now she says, Shavuot, what can I do? I forgot to prepare myself before the Chag. And now it's Chol HaMoed. Can I trim my fingernails? So the halacha says that even in that case, even for among Ashkenazic Jews, during the festival, she may trim her fingernails and toenails as she is accustomed to do on ordinary weekdays. Likewise, what about a mohel? Okay, did you notice that the mohel have a big long finger?
One long fingernail?
I used to have, sometimes I had a long fingernail here, and the rabbi was teasing me, saying, "Oh, I didn't know you become a mohel. It's very nice." Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. No, I didn't do that, but okay. So, a mohel must have a fingernail, also shochet, because part of the process they have to peel the skin and they have to have an ognen. So you will notice that the mohalim have long fingernails, and they're permitted since they are dealing with such a great mitzvah. The mitzvah will protect them. We know that long fingernails over the flesh, this pillow, whatever you call it, is it needs to be trimmed. Okay, it's not a good thing to have long fingernails for men and women as well, because the sitra achra, the other force, attach themselves to it, through it. If you want to glue something on it, it's a different story. It's glue. It's not your real fingernails. Make sense? Okay, so likewise, a mohel may trim his thumbnail to enable him to perform the mitzvah of priya on Chol HaMoed. So you know what priya, after cutting it, everyone else in the world, when they do Brit Milah, they just cut the skin. But there's something extra that the Jews doing, and Ishmael doesn't do. And this is called the priya and the mitzitza, when they suck with a tube or without a tube with their lips the blood. It's part of the mitzvah. Okay, sounds a little bit gruesome, but it is what it is. It's a great mitzvah, especially when it happens on Yom Kippur, and you take from the blood of the baby and put it on the shofar. You blow the shofar, or even Rosh Hashanah. I've done it in Young Israel. We happened to have that on that occasion, and we used that. It was wonderful, wonderful. Helps to atone the sins. You know. Now, so according to the Zohar, by the way, Ishmael has rights some rights in the land of Israel. Why? Because they're doing the bris milah. But they're limited. Their holds in Israel will be limited. Why? Because they don't do the whole process with priya and the mitzitza, and they're sucking it. So for that, because they are the descendants of Abraham, they will have some benefits in the land of Israel, but it's not going to be forever. It's not going to last forever. Okay. Israel eventually will get it fully, not like we have today. Today, we're not in full control, unfortunately. Some poskim ruled that even among Ashkenazic Jews, right, if someone has the habit of trimming his fingernails every Friday, he may do so on Chol HaMoed as well. On Chol HaMoed occur on or fell on Friday. Although the responsa of Shavuos Yaakov disagreed with this, one who wishes to can rely on responsa of Nachalat Shiva, who permitted it. Another Ashkenazi posek. So you have to be lenient. You have someone that you can rely on. Likewise, anyone who trimmed his fingernails on the day before the festival may trim them again on Chol HaMoed. Okay? What about medications? Medical treatments on Chol HaMoed. Why would I even ask the question about medical treatment on Chol HaMoed? When medical treatment is ever prohibited? When? I didn't say how. When? Shabbat.
Okay.
Shabbat, back then it was required to take a lot of samemanim, a lot of herbs, mix them together and grind them. You can't grind on Shabbat. Obviously, when someone is bedridden or it's a risk, God forbid, you have to take care of it completely. That's why one has to prepare himself before Shabbat to take medication. And one day, B'ez Hashem, we already have a shiur about medication on Shabbat, so you can look it up also. But it's not that simple. One can not just take because you feel a little bit headache.
You've had a shiur. Can you repeat that shiur sometime? No, it's one.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, it is on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's out there. It's a whole concept because you need to understand what about Tylenol and ibuprofen, or someone that's getting now antibiotic. What if he started it's for 10 days and he must take it 10 days? You're going to have Shabbat in between. What about cream and lotion, all that? It's a whole concept. Some lenient about some medications because today you don't have really to grind anything. You get it ready. So it depends on the situation, okay? Did you hear what I just said? Okay. So today it's a bit different, okay? It is forbidden on Shabbat or Yom Tov to crush herbs to prepare medicines for someone who is only moderately ill. On Chol HaMoed, however, it is permissible to engage in any type of melacha necessary for the treatment of someone who who is even moderately ill. It is certainly permissible to ingest any medications on Chol HaMoed, even if there are only pain relievers, and the person using the medication is able to function fully if he is not at all ill. Okay. Another halacha that I think some of you never heard before. What about working on Chol HaMoed? We said that people are not supposed to work, but someone that goes to a doctor has to pay for either the meeting or pay out of his pocket or pay deductible, whatever. He has to go on Chol HaMoed. Can he pay the doctor? Can the doctor take money on Chol HaMoed? So the halacha says, if someone goes to a doctor for treatment on Chol HaMoed, the doctor may collect his regular fee for his services. Otherwise, it will be considered as incurring a loss. One should not go to a doctor on Chol HaMoed for a regular checkup if one feels fine, since the examination will likely include acts of melacha such as blood test and writing. So one should try, if it's not urgent, to postpone this appointment. Either do it before or after Chol HaMoed. No big deal. Okay. Someone didn't take a haircut before Chol HaMoed, before the holiday, because he was sick, he was bedridden. And he became healthy on Chol HaMoed. Now he's ready to take a haircut. Could he take it before the Chag? No. It's called ones. You know what ones mean? Ones, anus. It's out of your power. Yeah. You were powerless. It was not your fault. Okay?
So then, yes, he can.
Someone who was ill before the festival and as a result was not able to cut his hair, but on Chol HaMoed he has recovered somewhat, he may have his hair cut on Chol HaMoed, if this will contribute toward his recovery, just as it is permissible to take medicine on these days. Many people like on Chol HaMoed to have vacation with their family. They go to a park, they go to a lake, they go on a boat, like to do fishing, for example. Fishing is permitted. Fishing/hunting. Can you hunt on the festival? Can you hunt on Chol HaMoed?
Yes.
I think no.
I think if you're using it for the holiday.
Using it, so Savannah says using it for the body. So I have to use it to show that I.
Well, because you're not supposed to go out and do those extra on the holiday, right? Because then it would be basically creating work for a purpose outside of it.
But it's not really work. It's like pleasure.
To hunt and then process everything. And then
I can say that on a lot of things that I work and it's a pleasure. As you can use it as a very good excuse.
But you're not getting.
Why I'm working, it's a pleasure for me.
No, but you're not getting like.
Why you're driving on Shabbos? It's only Shabbos for me. I like it. I love it. It's only a mitzvah, only Shabbos.
You're not getting like money for it. It's not like work. Like.
But you got the question, right?
Yeah.
All right. So listen to this. Fishing and milking cows on Chol HaMoed. With milking cows, it's a little bit different stories.
Because the cows
They
are
have to be
changing.
milked.
They have to be milked.
Right. And some kibbutzim, moshavim, and places that have cows, okay? Or how the cow's house called? In Hebrew it's called, if you know, $100 for me.
What is the cow called?
The cow called cow. But how the house of the cow?
The barn?
Barn in Hebrew.
What is barn in Hebrew?
It's called refet. Refet is the house for cows. So people that owns a refet or refatot in plural, they have a special system that they can milk on Shabbat even. Otherwise, it's not healthy for the cow. So they have a special system, work with timers and all that, and non-Jews are involved. And all right, it's not the time to discuss that. But we're talking about fishing or milking on Chol HaMoed. It is permissible to fish on Chol HaMoed, even in view of the public. One may catch as many fish as needed for oneself or for others. Even if one catches more fish than needed for the festival, it is permitted, since it is possible that they will be eaten during the festival. You might have guests coming up.
In fairness, I would have said no. But there's a couple, a family, that I believe goes one of those lakes in the north, at the border between Oklahoma and Texas or something.
I was gonna
And
say.
they go, and I think I remember them saying they went, say, all the kids went up there and spent a few days
Right.
and fished.
If a fisherman has practiced astringency not to catch fish during Chol HaMoed, he may change his practice without seeking hatarat nedarim. Hatarat nedarim means nullify your vows. Things that you have chazaka on, we've learned that term before. Something that you already do 3 times. Okay? This custom becomes strong, and sometimes you need to have, for certain cases, hatarat nedarim. Okay? You did, 5 candles every Shabbat, and you did it for one purpose. And now you want to change and go back to 2. So it requires hatarat nedarim, or something like that. That will nullify your vows. It's a process. You're sitting before 3 people. You know the process. So he says, "Oh, I didn't know I can fish on Chol HaMoed, I just don't fish. I love fishing. So now I'm changing my custom, and I want to join you guys to fish. Do I need to do hatarat nedarim?" Like I said, you don't need to worry about it. It has without seeking for hatarat nedarim, since it is for the purpose of enhancing the joy of the festival, like you guys mentioned. It is permissible to milk cows and sheep on Chol HaMoed, even if the milk is not needed for the festival. It will be cruel to the animal to refrain from milking them. Furthermore, refraining from milking them might lead to a loss of their value. Yeah, very easy. Chol HaMoed. The next thing is very common questions that we get all the time from singles and from married couples or married with kids. Something they have to deal all the time, and it's called laundering. Laundering garments on Chol HaMoed. Okay? Especially with kids, it's a challenge. What's up with laundering? Why laundering during Chol HaMoed will be prohibited? Why do we even have to discuss that? So let me tell you something. Our sages prohibited having one's haircut on Chol HaMoed in order to ensure that the people will hurry to have it cut before the festival begins. As was explained above, and Synagogue 531, let me just share. For the same reason, our sages institute a rule. It's in Moed Katan, the Trek the Moed Katan, 13b, that it is forbidden to launder clothes on Chol HaMoed. They wanted to make sure that people would hurry to have their clothes cleaned before the festival begins. Nonetheless, today it's easier. You either take it to the dry cleaner or you use your own washer and dryer. But I still have to deal with that. But many years ago, I don't know if you guys remember, they had to scrub it on something and to go to the river or to use water. So it was a whole deal. Back then, women didn't work for a reason. because they did so much work, didn't work. They worked very hard. Their husband can sit comfortably in the store, and they worked harder than him. With all the cleaning and the cooking and kids and all that. Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach in the Sefer Shulchan Shlomo, page 150, wrote that this prohibition of laundering on Chol HaMoed applies to laundering clothes in a washing machine as well. Since the purpose of this institution is to encourage people to have their clothes clean before the festival, and not simply to avoid work on Chol HaMoed. He says basically, regardless if it's easy task or not, you have to avoid doing that. Okay? It makes no difference how much toil is involved in the process. Nevertheless, there are instances when the halacha regards using washing machine as less of a problem than laundering in hand. We'll see B'ezrat Hashem in halacha 7 what he has to say. Yes, sir.
I thought you had told us before the last Chag that if you needed things like underwear, socks, and t-shirts.
It's a different story about that. About this, huh?
There's laundry.
You put it in the washing machine in the dryer.
I know, you don't have to get upset, but the Chachamim, our sages.
I want to wash.
So you didn't wash your underwear all these 7 days? You have one pair, right?
We bought a lot more, so we had.
You see my money.
Okay, so just be patient. Laundering garments on Chol HaMoed. It's forbidden to launder garments on Chol HaMoed, even if the garments are needed for the festival. Our sages instituted this rule so people would not postpone laundering their clothes until Chol HaMoed and celebrate the Yom Tov with unclean clothes. By the way, can we launder on Shabbat?
No.
People mistakenly think that laundering it means that you have to take it to the sink and brush it really hard, use soap, or put it in the machine, or what do you call this? Not cordless. What do you call this?
The crank.
It's a cordless washer, even without electricity. I used to have one in the dormitory we had. It was very useful. It's like a small barrel, and it's very useful. So people don't understand if you have, let's say you're eating during Shabbat, and you have here a spot of ketchup. I don't know if you're familiar with the notion, but ketchup. Okay. So what people usually do?
Put water on
No.
it.
No. They can put water. They can try to do with their saliva, disgusting saliva.
Spit on it.
Yeah. It's considered laundering. You're not supposed to do that. It's not limited to machine, even with your hand.
Also can't wring the clothes off, so.
It's a problem. It's a problem. This is why you prepare yourself. When I have little kids, I always prepare myself at least another shirt. Yeah, you're dealing with kids. They're touching you and they're messing you up. So you have to have more. It is permissible to launder hand towels on Chol HaMoed since they become soiled constantly with use. It is likewise permissible to launder bathe towels. There are poskim who suggested that in modern times this is no longer permissible since people are accustomed to using the same towels for a week without changing them. Talking about the one you use for the shower, the bathtub. Okay? When he says here for a week, he is exaggerating. Okay? Sami, 1 week it's enough. You have it since January 17? Sami, you gotta change it. What about handkerchief? Today, not using handkerchief. When I was young, even then it was disgusting. You would have handkerchief, and they're putting it back. Remember this handkerchief? Like today, thank God, we have tissue. So, imagine to yourself after having all this with all these mucus in it, and then you have to launder it. I don't want to discuss you, but so this kind of handkerchief can be used. It is permissible to launder handkerchiefs on Chol HaMoed. You tell him just wash it already, okay? You're permitted. Okay, someone has one garment, and get dirty. He knows that it's not permitted to launder it, but he has only one. Is he permitted? Chol HaMoed.
Yes.
If someone owns only one shirt, he may launder it on Chol HaMoed. You might think it's a joke, but I remember my mother telling me that they were uniform for school. You know, back then when you used to wear uniform and you stand when the teacher comes in, people were more respectful, okay? And she said they could not afford, there are 6 kids at the house, and she has the luxury of 2 shirts. So she said she would wear it one day, and then launder it, put it to dry, and use the other one. Every day the same. Can you imagine? Only 2 shirts. Some would use the same shirt for the entire week. And do it only for Shabbat, let it dry, using after Shabbat. It was time, that recessions and all that. Anyways, if someone owns only one shirt, he may launder it on Chol HaMoed, even if he did not bother to launder it before the festival began. He may nevertheless do so on Chol HaMoed if someone owns 2 of the same type of garment. However, it is forbidden to launder them on Chol HaMoed, even they both have become soiled, right? Soiled. Okay. Likewise, if someone owns 2 suits that are suitable for Shabbat and they both become soiled, I'm just telling you that it's a good thing to specify clothing for Shabbat and holidays and for the mundane days. Okay? Shirts, pants, suits, ties, not necessarily to be ties, but if you can dedicate ties, even shoes, it's not, but if you can dedicate even shoes and a tie, you show more respect and honor to Shabbat. Okay? So, but likewise, if someone owns 2 suits that are suitable for Shabbat and they both become soiled, it is forbidden to wash them on Chol HaMoed. If he owns only one Shabbat suit and it becomes soiled, he may launder it even though he owns other changes of clothes fit for weekday use. Okay, I don't want to go through the whole. The whole discussion is if you have 3 and all that. I don't want to go there. You got the idea, right? Yes. Now, a pregnant woman must wear surgical hose every day, right? She should try to purchase enough pairs to last her through the festival. If this is not possible, and the pairs that she have become soiled, she may launder them on Chol HaMoed. What about the sheets and hotels and hospitals? It is permissible to launder the linens of hotels and hospitals. It is certainly permissible to launder the uniforms of the doctors, nurses, and other medical personnel. What about little kids? They get dirty all the time, right? And the mud in the house, outside the house. It is likewise permissible to launder the clothing of little children, since they constantly get their clothes filthy with soil and mud. If one washes these garments by hand he should wash only the minimum number of garments that are needed at the moment. In contrast, it is permissible to wash, even by hand, any number of baby clothes and diapers, since the infants dirty all their clothes with urine and their own soil, so that many changes of clothes are necessary. Today we have the disposable diapers, but back then we had the white one. Today they're using them, but just to clean up the mouth or the hands of their kid. Back then, I remember we used to use only these cotton, 100% cotton cloth, and you have to. It was really disgusting to clean it. Okay, if one launders the children's clothes in a washing machine, one may wash any number of garments at one time, as long as one plans to use them during the festival. This is certainly permitted if one add the clothes to the load, including diapers and other infant garments. It is forbidden in all circumstances to add an adult's garment to the children's clothing and wash them together in the washing machine, like taking advantage of it. I knew you wanted to ask that question, so I'm very proud of you that you being so patient. Thank you. Okay, now we're talking about underwear and t-shirts. Nowadays, many people are accustomed to changing their undergarments on a daily basis, since they observe one's perspiration, like sweat, perspiration through the day in particular places with hot climate. The responsa of Synagogue Members ruled that if someone has laundered all his clothing before the festival and he does not have enough sets of undergarments to last him through the festival, it is permissible for him to launder those garments in a washing machine during Chol HaMoed. So more lenient, especially when today you can use machines. It's easy, it's not a big deal. Throw it in, put some. In all the above, if someone had been, I skipped something. Yeah. In all these cases, where there is a special dispensation to launder the necessary garments during Chol HaMoed, this should be done in private, away from public's view. It means also not to put them to dry in public in Chol HaMoed. People will think it's permitted, they don't know that it's actually kids or was emergency or something like that. Make sense? Today many people, they just use the dryer. But in Israel it's very common. Okay? If someone had been imprisoned or taken hostage and was released during Chol HaMoed, he may launder his clothes if he has the need. The same applies to someone who had been traveling and arrived on Chol HaMoed, and to any woman who needs white, clean undergarments and bathing for the 7 clean days before she emerged in the mikveh. Now listen to this. It's different than the case we have on Shabbat. What's the difference? If someone's garments become stained during Chol HaMoed, okay, ketchup, mustard, mud, you name it. So it's easy just to spray something and clean it really quickly. If someone's garments become stained during Chol HaMoed, it is permissible to clean off the stain with a cleaning agent. This is not the act of laundering that our sages forbade during Chol HaMoed. It's no big deal. It's really okay. Thank you. It's certainly permissible to brush dust from garments or hat using a brush. There is no basis to prohibit this whatsoever. Okay. You know what? I have 4 more. Let's finish it. We're going to finish it, Mr. Hashem. What about someone that is making money out of it? He will take your clothes, he will launder for you, and you pay him. But he's working on Chol HaMoed. It is permissible to launder clothes for someone else in all the cases when laundering clothes is permitted. The owner of the garment does not have to do it himself. It is forbidden, however, to take pay for such services, unless the person doing the laundry is so poor that he would have nothing to eat, if not for the wages he paid for this work. Okay, there are poskim who ruled that anyone may be paid for these services as long as the clean clothes are needed during the festival. It is recommended not to ask him how much he charges, but to simply give the person who laundered the clothes a generous tip, as if it was simply a gift. In that way, the money given to him is not considered a payment. Okay, skip this one. What about washing the floor? You have tiles at home. Washing the whole floor and the kitchen and everything, it's a lot of work. The custom among Sephardic Jews is clear. It is permissible to wash floors during Chol HaMoed. Unlike those poskim, I don't want to mention to whom they're referring to, who ruled that it is forbidden. If anyone suspects that this is not a valid practice, let him take note that this is the universal practice in every community, and no rabbinical leaders have ever protested against it. There's some custom, we'll see it, B'ez Hashem, between the 17th of Tammuz and Tisha B'Av, that people don't take even shower, like mourners. And if you live in Alaska, you don't sweat. Probably no one would notice. But if a place that it's a little bit hot and you sweat, and you don't change your clothing, it's so disgusting. I remember my son Cyril told me he used to work for sometimes in New York, and he said, Abba, you can't even imagine. There's some Hasidic, I don't want to say Hasidic, but some group, they are very strict. They don't wash. And Rabbi Vadia always make fun of it. I mean, you stink like a donkey. But what is this? To go take a shower, change your clothing. It's embarrassing.
You can't go before God that way.
Right. But they're very strict. They don't trim their hair, nothing and nothing. So they're mourners. But they take it too far. The smell is so disgusting. Anyways, it is permissible to iron clothing on Chol HaMoed. And the last one, what about shine your shoes on Chol HaMoed? You can do it on Shabbat, you can do it on Yom Tov. On Chol HaMoed, it is permissible on Chol HaMoed to shine shoes with shoe polish. Now, Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to talk about riding on horse or donkey on Yom Tov, Chol HaMoed. What about fixing your car during Chol HaMoed, which is broken or needed to? And also, what would be considered something that is under the category of monetary loss, that you would permit it? You can say everything, I'm losing money if I don't do it. But not everything is under that category. So Be'ez Hashem will see also these kind of things. People have flour, if you don't water them, what's going to happen, and so forth and so on. Any questions? Thank you very much for coming. May Hashem give you, bless you with good health and great parnasa, and all the best. Amen. Thank you. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
How's your rib?
It's getting worse. Thank you.
Worse?
Yeah. When I read about it, I heard that it's. I'm sorry. Let me just.